Hi, everybody. Welcome to Conversations in Anarchy. I am your host, Catherine Bleish Bonandin, and today I am bringing two very special guests to talk about our upcoming event, Liberpulco. Liberpulco is a joint event hosted by Liberland and Anarchapulco. It's taking place at the Liberland Arc Village located in Serbia, very near the Liberland border. The official stage dates are September 6th through 8th. But we do have our decentralized Liberpulco events taking place in the days leading up to and after the main stage. So you can host your own presentation or a fun outing, whatever you want to do. This is a choose your own adventure portion. And we do have a special ticketed brunch with Vit, Jeff, and David Avocado Wolf on Sunday, September 9th, followed by a tour of Liberland. So you can watch our most previous episode of Conversations in Anarchy with myself, our stage manager, Rebecca, and our logistics manager, Chris, to learn all the nitty-gritty details, find out all the how to get transportation, what type of tickets there are, etc. But today, we're going to be talking to the two most influential people behind this event, Jeff Berwick and Vit, whose name I've practiced many times, and I'm probably going to say it wrong, but I'm going to try. Jetlicka. Did I say it right?
Of course not, but it's a good try.
All right. Welcome to the show, you guys. Thank you for coming on.
Hey, great to be with you.
Can I ask you, Kat, because you mentioned September 6th to the 8th. I thought the event is September 5th to the 7th. Did you change the dates?
Jeff, I'm going to the website right now. My dyslexic.
I'm looking right at it. It's September 5th to 7th. And we're going to Liberland on the 8th.
Yep, you're right. So, you guys, I'm Catherine and I'm dyslexic. Welcome to my life. I mess up dates and numbers all the dang time, which is why people proofread everything I put in writing. And since I typed this up based on memory, let me rephrase my introduction here. Our main stage is September 5th through 7th with decentralized Liberpulco in the days leading up. And we're doing our Liberland tour on the 8th. I'm just keeping you on your toes here. Thank you, Jeff. I appreciate that.
Just wanted to make sure I'm coming at the right time.
Well, me too. God forbid I show up a day late. Lord Almighty. All right. So let's just jump right into this. Vit, for those in our audience who have no idea what Liberland is, could you please give us a brief introduction and history? What is Liberland and where did the idea come from?
Well, Liberland is a startup country. We are the most serious and biggest startup country movement in modern history, and I would say also most successful one. And we are literally at the brink of huge expansion that is happening. We are building inside of Liberland. We just finished our constitution and we finished our decentralized autonomous governance of Liberland, which is really exciting. So the government of Liberland, as well as the courts, as well as the registrars, as well as all the bureaucracy of Liberland is on one blockchain that is connected, that is decentralized, and it is directly connected to all the centralized exchanges. So I think we're at least 5-6 years ahead of any other nation state with what we're doing. And of course, coming yearly brings some challenges, but there is also a huge benefit of being yearly. So I'm really excited about that things are coming together, that the first more serious Congress elections is coming up on 6th of October. So this is exactly 1 month after Liberpulco, and that the construction in Liberland is actually taking place right now. We're building a medical clinic and settlement hub, which is made out of this very cool new technology, a floating concrete. And we are also building 3 houses in Liberland. So after 8 years of struggles, or almost 9 years of struggles, of not being even able to get inside of Liberland, which is a beautiful territory between Croatia and Serbia, we managed to occupy it last year on 6th of August. Last year, and now we are developing Liberland into a nation state. We still have a bunch of challenges with Croatians. It's not easy. They're doing all kinds of stuff that's not considered civilized by any means, but it doesn't mean we don't have fun with their challenges that they're putting up, and that these challenges are actually quite reasonable considering the status that we find ourselves in. And right now there are around a dozen people living in Liberland, and they're building, and it's pretty exciting moment in the history of Liberland.
Awesome. I am so excited about what you guys are doing, and I'm grateful that there are people who are facing the challenges that y'all are facing, because as we all know, statists are going to state, and it is not fun trying to create something new when there is an established statist institution overseeing certain areas. So thank you for paving the way and showing the world how it is done, Vit. We are so grateful. Now, Jeff, most of our audience already knows about Anarchapulco, right? Because this is the Anarchapulco YouTube channel, but there might be people who are Liberlanders who are finding us on YouTube that have never heard of Anarchapulco before. So could you please give a brief introduction and history? What is Anarchapulco? Where did that idea come from? How long has it been running, etc.?
Sure, you know a lot of it, but you've been running it for a number of years now. But we started in 2015. We're going on to our 11th year next year. And it's kind of interesting. Actually, Vit, were you at the first Anarchapulco ever?
I think we came to the second one, if I remember correctly. But we literally the country was born at the same time, like Liberpulco. So Liberland was born on 13th of April, 2015. So when was Anarchapulco born, actually?
February 2015. So 2 months after Anarchapulco was formed, Liberland was formed. It's very cool,
Wow.
and we're finally coming together. So we've been running it obviously for 10 years now. It started as and it still is an anarchist conference. We usually say anarcho-capitalist. We've actually mostly call ourselves voluntarists now, just because of all the stigma with all the different words. But the very first year or two was pretty what you would kind of expect from an anarchist conference. It was mostly people with black T-shirts and saying how bad the government was, and all the stats and all the numbers, and how everything would run better privately, which was fine. But over the years, it's really changed a lot. It's become more of a complete freedom event with people working on all sorts of other areas of their lives, and not just worrying about the government and how that takes away your freedom, but reclaiming your freedom in other areas, such as your own health and things like that. So it's become quite a different event over the years. I always said that because, as you know, Kat, people ask us all the time, why can't you do an Anarchapulco in Europe or some other part of the world, or even another part of Mexico, just because Acapulco is very hard to get to, and especially after the Cat 5 hurricane that hit exactly at the Secret Garden. There's actually still not even international flights into Acapulco. Hopefully that'll get fixed by February, but we get asked all the time, do you want to move it? And we've thought about it numerous times. And when it comes to moving to other places in Mexico, as you know, Kat, we always gravitate back to, we've been here for 10 years. We're a part of the community. The community totally appreciates us, especially after the hurricane that hit last year, that we were a major part in rebuilding the city. So when it came to moving it somewhere more convenient, such as Cancun or Puerto Vallarta or something like that, we always have said, you know, we're just going to stay in Acapulco. It's hard to get to. We understand that. But that also is part of what's so cool about it, is that the people who come here from all over the world, really, it's not that easy at all. And so then people were always saying, well, you know, it's hard to even get over to that part of the world from places like Europe. And for many years, people ask, can you do an Anarchapulco in Europe? And usually my response is, no, one's enough. It's hard enough to do one. But then I was also like, well, where would we do it in Europe? There's no place like Mexico in Europe. We're not going to be able to do ayahuasca ceremonies, DMT, do whatever we want in most parts of Europe. Even though there's some beautiful and great parts of Europe, none of them really felt right to me. And so we just kept putting it on the back burner. And then I guess it was this year, and you, Vit and Kat, you know more than me about how this all came together, but Vit came up with the idea, why don't we do an Anarchapulco in Liberland? And when I heard that idea, I was like, that actually really makes a lot of sense and really works. Most people involved in Liberland are very anarcho-capitalist leaning. It's in Europe, but it's not in Europe. And so to me, this being our first foray outside of Acapulco is absolutely perfect. I've actually said over the years that if we were going to do it in Europe, I'd want it to be at Liberland. And that was just sort of a, kind of a pipe dream to some extent years ago when they couldn't even get on the land. But Liberland has advanced so much now. I think there's even border crossings from Croatia into Liberland. Liberland, Vit has done an incredible job. It's basically becoming a real country after years and years of work in every respect. And so for Anarchapulco, if we're going to do one in Europe, there couldn't have been a better place. So I'm super excited that we're all going to get together. We're going to have another Anarchapulco, because one of the other things, Kat, is everyone says we can't, a year is too long in between events. We need to get together with our tribe, our people more often. And we finally found the right solution, and we're doing it in just a couple of weeks in Liberland.
Yeah, I am so excited, Jeff. I've been so grateful to be a part of Anarchapulco since 2018. I came the first year there was a health conference, and it completely changed my life. I mean, I came back from Mexico just like a Care Bear with like, light coming out, just, I'm totally different. I'm a different person. And I knew I had to stay involved. And I actually did a DMT trip in 2019 where I saw that we would pick up Anarchapulco and take it around the world. And when the lockdowns happened, I thought the decentralized virtual event was that. And I was like, oh, look, it's coming true. It's happening. We're around the world. We're having watch parties everywhere. And then when Vit contacted me this summer and was like, hey, I've got this idea, my brain just exploded, because it is the perfect location. It is the perfect timing. And honestly, we do have people every year who watch the virtual event and say, I just can't travel. And this year, with Liberpulco taking place, we've got people who are coming from all over Europe. On every volunteer call that we have had so far, every person was in a different country. Every single person on every single call was in a different country. It was so cool. So my next question, Vit, actually, Jeff segued perfectly into it, is that this was your idea, and you had brought this to us because you were coming up on the 1-year anniversary of settling in the actual land itself. And so I wanted to ask, what are we celebrating while we're there, and why are you bringing so many people to Liberland now? Why now?
Yeah, well, it's really beautiful summer in Liberland. We've got endless beaches now because the water is low on Danube, and those are not just some beaches; they're beautiful white sand beaches. It's a really great time to be in Liberland, especially whole September, and that's why we have decided to make this announcement that we are giving citizenship to everybody that's going to actually settle Liberland for 7 days and actively help and support the community that is being created in Liberland itself. And that applies for everybody watching this video. We're just about to announce it globally. There is a 7-day citizenship by settlement program. So not just becoming a shareholder as we have it so far, but also helping to settle Liberland. And yes, we are building the first medical clinic in Liberland, and that needs a little bit of support. We need a community around it. We are building the first 3 houses on the Liberty Island, which is the best property that we've got in Liberland. So really the time is now. We need more people to permanently stay there, and this winter will be much more, I would say, civilized than the previous winter, which was a bit rough after a couple of challenges again posted by Croatians to us, like robbing us 12 times of all the property that we had in Liberland and other stuff, which was real fun. But thanks God, they stopped doing that. I think once the chief of the police actually got this news from the police of Croatia, or from the procurator, from the higher instances, that they're going to be held accountable for all these raids that they have done in Liberland 2 weeks ago, and we were expecting that their justice system will finally kick in. They cannot basically let this happen forever. Like, just rob the people there of their private property. So yes, we actually for some time in Liberland there was 100% tax on all private property installed by Croatia, but we're over that period, and right now we are building again. There are 8 construction workers right now and 5 full-time settlers, but we need 100. And that's why Liberpulco is so important, because we need to actually get to some decent level of settlement and of construction works in Liberland. And we need to be able to organize ourselves in proper way. So the blockchain governance is already there. The first Congress elections, the first serious ones, are coming up. The Uberized police system is also being finalized. So anybody that comes to Liberland and has some basic qualification can become a policeman, just signs up into application. So all these cool things are happening right now. Liberpulco is a great partner for us to make this happen. And I'm really excited to host everybody and also guide them for this 7-day citizenship program if they're coming before or after. And the main point of Liberpulco, of course, is to have a great conference with great people, and that will be at Arc Village. So there will be no problems whatsoever with any other state institutions. It's not in Croatia, it's actually in Serbia, and it's not in Liberland, but the main things are actually happening before and after Liberpulco, inside of Liberland itself. And, hold your horses for now, but let's get ready for a big show during these days. And I've got one more thing to announce. We're also holding a wedding, which is going to be pretty exciting on 6th of September. I'm actually having my future spouse with me here. She is helping me on many accounts. So that will be another cool event. I think it will be quite nice that we have a wedding also as part of this event, unless Liberpulco is being held on my birthday. So we're kind of combining a bunch of things in one package.
It's going to be so fun. I actually attended Nathan and Lisa Freeman's wedding at Anarchapulco. Was that 2018? I think it was, out on the beach. It was really beautiful. And it's always so nice to celebrate love when you're with community and like-minded people. So congrats on that, Vit. That's so exciting. I became a signer for the Free State Project back in 2007, before people had really started moving out there. And I actually just attended my 8th Porcupine Freedom Festival that takes place in New Hampshire. This was their 21st year running, and I had not been since 2018. And so to see how their community had developed in that time was just absolutely mind-blowing and incredible. And so I've seen communities that have, formed as an idea on the internet and then developed, and people have made the trek, the pilgrimage for freedom, right? And they started moving, and now they're having children, and they like to say they are outbreeding the status by having lots and lots of Liberty babies. And so I feel like what's happening right now for people, if you come to this first Liberpulco, you get the opportunity to see an actual community form from the beginning. And 20 years from now, we're going to be getting back together, hopefully with our grandchildren, celebrating Vit's birthday and his anniversary, and just seeing how far it's come. And I love that about our community, that we have deep, deep roots, and that we are decentralized in this wonderful way, that if you are looking for a bastion of freedom and you are in Europe, you have got Liberland as an option for you. And I do want to mention that Serbia has been so friendly to our team. Kristaps has gone and traveled multiple times to make contractual agreements and arrangements. And the Serbian people have been wonderful to Kristaps, to the Liberpulco team, and they work very well with Liberland as well. So I know sometimes it can be scary to hear oh gosh, the Croatian police were giving them trouble. That's why we're doing this in Serbia. That's why we're holding an event in friendly territory. And I want you all to know that it's going to be absolutely awesome. Now, Jeff, you mentioned Anarchapulco has been running for 10 years straight. And I think something that we've all learned during that time period is the importance of these in-person events, wherever they may be. You know, Anarchapulco is just one of them, but it's a very, very important one. And now Europe is getting their own. Can you talk about the importance of gathering in person? So for the people who might be sitting on the fence, like, oh, I could just get a virtual ticket. Why come in person? What does that do for your soul?
Well, I think you can answer that just as well as I can, because you see it every year that people are literally crying at Anarchapulco quite often because they are so happy to be around non-crazy brainwashed people. Most of the world is brainwashed, crazy people. And there's not that many who are just decent and moral and don't want to rob anyone, don't want to steal from anyone, don't want to kill anyone. It's very unusual to be around that amount of people. And of course, what the mainstream will say is, oh, those anarchists are all dangerous. We're not the dangerous ones. They are all the kind of dangerous ones, and they're the ones causing all these problems, including possible World War III, which looks like it's coming up, which is all statist stuff, of course. But every single year since Anarchapulco, I usually try to ask people, how did it go for you? What was your favorite part? Almost every single time, the answer is the other people at the event was their favorite part. So you may have watched Anarchapulco on virtual in the past and seen amazing speakers and gotten great life-changing ideas and maybe even changed your whole life. That's awesome. And everyone who watches it live also gets that. But the part that you're missing is meeting the kind of people that come to these events. And Anarchapulco's got a very special type of people, especially now. It's changed a lot over the years. Again, it's gone through so many different phases, and I actually love it the best right now. It's the most amazing people, the nicest people. There's never any problems anymore, and that's a big thanks to you, Kat, because that was one of your big initiatives, is getting rid of any drama whatsoever, because there always seem to be some. And so the people who come to Anarchapulco are just amazing. And you just meet people and they're like, yeah, I'm rebuilding Nikola Tesla's technology, and, you know, we're doing this, and you know, I'm up in the mountains in Colombia and we're starting this community, and, you know, all these sort of things. And these people are just incredible to be around. And when I was thinking about Liberpulco, I thought it's going to be even better, because a lot of the kind of people who come to Anarchapulco will be there. But then there's going to be a lot of people who maybe have never come to Anarchapulco or even know much about it, but are major Liberlanders. And I can say from being at numerous Liberland events over the years, I've spoken at the Liberland Embassy in London. I'm the diplomat for the embassy here in Mexico. I've been to a Liberland event in Serbia a few years ago. Every single time I go, I'm like blown away at the people I meet. The kind of people who are involved in Liberland are the movers and shakers of the coming world to be, and they're creating that world, and they're serious and they're smart. And a lot of them have a fair amount of capital as well, because a lot of them are narco-capitalists who do business and things like that. So I think it's going to be a tremendous mix of people. I'm super excited to see how they mix together. I'm sure it'll be excellent. I'm sure both Liberlanders and Anarchapulcanians will be blown away at how amazing the other tribe is. And now the two tribes are together in one spot. So I'm expecting it's going to be incredible.
Yeah, definitely. Let me just talk a little bit more about these guys, right? Like, I met Ron Paul, and we were able to give him the passport of Liberland, but then he was also decorated with the highest state award, and it was, of course, at Anarchapulco. I think back 6-7 years ago. That was pretty cool, right? But another famous Liberlander is Javier Milei, who has been running his campaign in Argentina on the basis that he is a general from Liberland coming to save Argentina. We've got now two really famous guys. One of them is a famous member of royal family that is planning to join our forces. He is a member of one of the, I would say, historically most powerful families in Europe. We've got Richard Sulik, who has been our supporter for many years, and all these guys are now coming together. Once the governance of Liberland has been finished and the constitution is finished, and actually like what they see, like the important and influential guys all around the world that have been following Liberland are now joining to make the final push for the recognition and for proper development of physical land in Liberland as well. So, I'm really excited about that both our events or initiatives are so close, and they're really working together from the beginning for the whole 10 years. But think about it. What other conference can you go to where you're not just sitting at the conference, where you're actually starting a real country, a place with maximum amount of freedom? There is no other opportunity in the world to be part of this historical moment. And I think this is why we should really don't hesitate and just jump on the train and come and visit us and visit ARC at Village and make your decision if you're also going to move, maybe for 7 days for citizenship program, but maybe permanently to Liberland.
Yes, absolutely. And so I just want to remind everyone, Liberpulco.com is where you buy the tickets, and the dates are September 5th through 7th. That is the main stage, and there will be things happening before and after, including the 7-day citizenship program that Liberland is putting on. So Liberpulco.com, check it out. It is going to be an absolutely awesome event. Now, Vit, I know you said you were at the second Anarchapulco, but I am curious, how many Anarchapulcos have you attended, and what is your biggest takeaway from Anarchapulco? How was your life changed by Anarchapulco?
I would say around 1/4 of my closest friends and also biggest supporters of Liberland are coming from Anarchapulco. So it's a huge support that comes from these quarters, and there is a huge synergy that is happening there. So I think it really makes sense all the way that we're doing this now in Europe in collaboration, and let's just push strongly for the marketing so the people that are kind of sleeping from our community and from the libertarian community across Europe are going to join us as well in September, and let's make this really one of the biggest liberty events in Europe.
Yes, awesome. And I hope we get to do it year after year. I can say probably about 1/4 of my closest friends are also from Anarchapulco, and I married a man I met at Anarchapulco and have a little Anarchapulco baby. She's amazing, and she's been to one in utero, and gosh, she's such the sweetest thing, and she's a community baby. And I mean, Anarchapulco, you really do, you go, you meet the most amazing people, and the relationships stick with you. And I have a feeling Liberpulco is going to be the same way. I am opening myself up to new friendships, new opportunities. My husband's from Italy, and at some point we do want to reestablish ourselves in Europe. So I'm very excited to have Liberland as a potential option for our family, because, Italy's not a very free country at all, even though the food is awesome. Love the food in Italy. But man, if you want to try to build a house, it takes forever, and most of the buildings are historical, and it takes 10 years to get a permit. It's just a whole thing. So I'm personally really excited about the option of having Liberland. I believe in a decentralized geography myself. That's what I'm looking for, is deep roots in several places where I have established community. And if something happens in one region of the world, I've got options for my family. So I'm really excited about Liberland. Now, Jeff, you mentioned a little bit about your involvement. You're the diplomat for Mexico. You're a Liberlander. You have citizenship, correct, in Liberland?
Yeah, I'm a citizen. I also have a diplomatic passport. So I'm really rooting for Liberland to be recognized all over the world, because if so, a diplomatic passport is pretty good to have. You can't get arrested anywhere. It's pretty incredible. Not that I do anything illegal, but in the UK now, a Facebook post is illegal, so it might be a good thing to have.
Yeah, absolutely. And, I've been arrested twice and I never did anything illegal. So, these things happen. Statists are going to state, as I said earlier. Now, Vit, you've been traveling extensively as an international diplomat for Liberland. And I believe you were recently at the Freedom Fest in Las Vegas and doing a lot of other events. Do you want to talk a little bit about your international travels and how you've been representing your country to the world?
Yes, I'm really excited about all these events this year. The Freedom Fest was huge, And I hope we're also going to collaborate with them on a movies festival next year, which will be pretty exciting because we will pick up the best movies and we'll do something in the spring next year. And then we did quite a few important travels into Africa right after that, and also Central America and South America. So we've got quite a few great options for full diplomatic recognition now in our hands. And I'm building up that, and then there is another great event where I got invited to speak. It is Montpellier in Society this year on 22nd of September in India. Montpellier in Society is kind of the Bilderberg for Liberlanders, but also for libertarians. I would say it's kind of a high society event, discussions. So that's another very cool event. So I would say, there are like 3 major events happening for liberty-oriented people each year, which is Freedom Fest in Las Vegas, Montpellier in Society this year in India, and also Liberpulco in Liberland, of course, Anarchapulco as well in Acapulco.
Awesome. So, Jeff, would you be willing to tell the audience some of the speakers you're most looking forward to seeing at Liberpulco this year?
Sure. Yeah, there's a lot. I've actually been really impressed. When Kat first told me about Liberpulco, I kind of didn't think it was going to be a big deal. But then I saw all the things you guys are doing, and you just had all these amazing speakers signed up. And I actually was like slow to catch on that this was going to be a major event, but I was very happy to hear that it's become one. And there's so many great people speaking. And of course, coming from Acapulco is Max Egan, who I just saw yesterday. So it's not like I'm excited to see him because I see him all the time, but I think a lot of people would be really excited to see him. He's been doing incredible work for so long. Of course, Rafael Laverde, who works with me at the Crypto Vigilante, will also be there. He's an incredible liberty speaker. He's in the crypto for the freedom and not for the number go up. Let's just put it that way. When I heard David Avocado Wolf was going, I thought that was awesome. I love a lot of the stuff he does. And he came to Anarchapulco last year too, so that's cool. So I'll be seeing him again. He's just an amazing guy. I didn't know a lot about Steve Falconer of Spacebusters. I had seen a few of his videos and stuff like that, but I didn't know the person. And I really got to know the person at Anarchapulco this year, and he is an amazing guy. So I'm so glad he's going. Of course, Thomas Walls, who's one of the top people at Liberland. There's going to be a number of Liberland speaker type people as well. And by the way, for anyone out there who's kind of like looking at the world and thinking, man, it looks like doom and gloom and horror and tyranny. Well, there's other people doing other things, and it's the exact opposite. And you should really come to this Liberpulco, even if you're from Mexico, for example, or the US or Canada, because it's like founding a new, that kind of compares it to the founding of America, because the founding of America was kind of, well, it was, the initial ideas were very, very libertarian, almost anarcho-capitalist. After a few years, it already was turning bad, and a few hundred years later, and it doesn't look like anything like freedom anymore. But this is like the founding of America all over again, but actually improved. And Vit's actually worked so hard on that, on putting in like blockchain-based systems. How can they do voluntary taxes, which, if it's voluntary, it's not taxes, but basically everything's voluntary at Liberland. And as Vit was mentioning, there's big money, people gravitating towards it right now. They've got plans to build something that looks like a futuristic Hong Kong there, right in Liberland. And all these plans are just starting to go into motion. So if you wanted to be at imagine if you were there with Thomas Jefferson and whoever else. I don't even know all the founding fathers. I don't care about all that. But if you were there with them all, wouldn't that have been incredible as they were coming up with this idea? We're doing it again. And actually, we've learned a lot from all their mistakes. And so this is like coming to like a world-changing sort of event and opportunity, as Vit was saying. You could become a citizen right while you're there. You can find out what people are doing. You're going to hear about people with all these ideas and projects and raising funds and investments. And you can get involved at the ground level, involved in the ground level with things like the Liberland dollar. You can imagine if this turns into a futuristic Hong Kong that everyone in the world wants to be a part of because it's so free and so amazing. If you got involved at the very beginning and perhaps you got a little piece of land on Liberland or something like that, it'd be like buying a piece of land in Hong Kong right before it turned into Hong Kong. I'm not saying it will turn into that, but that's where it's headed at the moment. So there's huge opportunities. But getting back to the speakers, I'm also excited. Alex Zek's going to be there. I'm a huge fan of Dr. Andrew Kaufman, and I don't know if Alex Zek is kind of like a follower of his or if he just happened to be talking about a lot of the same stuff, but they talk about very similar things, which I'm super into. I think they've got it totally right about how the pharmaceutical and the whole medical system is a complete and total scam. Everything that they say is real is not real whatsoever. And when you learn that, you get incredible health freedom. You actually learn how to be healthy, which the entire system today in the world is trying not to make sure that you can't. Pavel Luptak will be there. So there's going to be some crypto guys there. Dr. Lydia and Arturo de Leon, I've met them numerous times. They're from Mexico, so they're coming from Mexico to Liberpulco. They are incredible. A lot of these people, by the way, if you just sat down and had lunch with them or a coffee or whatever it is, you'd be blown away at what they talk about. And that's definitely Lydia and Arturo. Every time I talk to them, they're telling me about all these incredible geometrical sort of things and how they all work and all the things they know about the history of like the pyramids and all that kind of stuff. Just incredible stuff. Another person I really like, I met last year at Anarchapulco, is Persephone Ashwarya, who has I didn't even know until the last Anarchapulco, what do we call that last one, Kat?
Nonconformist series.
Yeah, the Nonconformist series. I was watching that, and I had no idea they have an incredible big community in Greece that's basically a libertarian community. They're unschooling their kids, growing their own food. She's got a wonderful energy, so she'll be speaking, and there's so many more. Perhaps you want to say, Kat, who are a couple of your favorite speakers are, because there's a few that I don't know well, and I think you do.
Yeah, well, I'm actually going to be talking about how the concentration of liberty lovers in one place is a method that works, because it does. I've seen it work in New Hampshire with the Free State Project, and I actually live in a community that is 55 years old this year, and it works. Everything here is done by consensus, and we make agreements together. It's voluntarious, and it works. It works. It works. I love it so much. I'm just scrolling through to see on here. So some of these were people that I didn't know much about that Rebecca was able to find. Dr. Tess Laurie, for example, Hannah Maria, who is actually involved with our Anarch-COVID series like 3 or 4 years ago during the lockdown. She is actually working on a community of her own. So she's got a lot to talk about, like what it takes to actually build, because it's not easy. You know, coming from a community that's 55 years old here at Greenbrier, they've gone through really tough periods, and it's hard to build community when you are not using force. You have to get people to come together and agree, which means you have to work on your ability to communicate, and it means you have to work on yourself. Samantha Pilbeam, she is doing a workshop on breath work, which is this really comes down to it. The theme for 2021 was breathe. That was the year of the lockdown. And that is the most fundamental human thing that we do, is we breathe. And if you are not able to do that in a meaningful and conscious way, it's actually difficult to represent yourself in a meaningful and conscious way in any type of relationship, whether it is a friendship or a community or a romantic relationship. And so learning how to breathe and do these very, very basic things in this meaningful and intentional way, it changes who you are, and it changes your relationship, not only to yourself, but with other people. So I'm really, really excited about that. You know, some of these speakers, I actually don't know much about them because Rebecca has brought them on. So I'm really, going to be learning myself. We've got Glenn Metter, Privacy Academy. Never heard of him myself, but I have a feeling I'm going to want to learn some things because I'm like all up in Google. and I need to get out of Google. And I'm so intertwined, and Anarchapulco's in Google, and we're trying to get Anarchapulco out of Google. And it's just, the whole privacy aspect, they make it so convenient to not have privacy. And so just like Jeff was saying, we have to put in the effort to get to Acapulco. We have to put in the effort to get to Ark Village, right? You go on this pilgrimage, this grand adventure, and part of the experience is the adventure. I am on such a pilgrimage for privacy right now in the digital world, and I'm learning how to protect myself and protect my family. And I don't think I've done a very good job of that up until this point. So that's a learning thing that I have to work on myself. So anyway, we've got a ton of awesome speakers. I'm really, really excited. Now, Vit, we are suggesting that people come early, and we're suggesting they stay late, not just for the decentralized Forco events, but also for the 7-day citizenship path. But I understand that there is a ton of awesome cultural opportunities and things that people can experience in Serbia. I want to go to the Nikola Tesla Museum in Belgrade. Is there anything in the area that you can suggest for people, like if they have a few extra days, they finish their Liberland 7-day experience, Liberpulco's over, are there just any like must go to places, whether it's a restaurant or a museum or somewhere you think people should check out before they leave the area?
Yeah, first of all, we've got really nice representative office on the river in Belgrade. So people are very welcome in our office. We actually have a second one now right in the center of Belgrade. By the way, there are quite a few big protests happening right now in Belgrade against the government. So that might be also quite exciting there. I would say one of the most or the fanciest anti-governmental videos ever posted, people running around like crazy these days. But otherwise, I would say it's also a good opportunity to see the society in action. And how to get to Liberland, I think, is one of the things that you wanna know. Flying to Belgrade is one option. Even despite these protests, like Serbia is one of the safest countries, right? But it's just that right now the society is kind of moving, which is kind of nice to see. Flying to Budapest is also a good option, but just one very cool flight for $15, you can fly from London to Osijek. So check out the Osijek flights. If you're flying from somewhere around the world, there are 2 times a week Osijek to London flights. Osijek is only 40 minutes away from Liberland, and it's 45 minutes away from Ark Village for $15. Kind of early in the morning, but there's probably some good connection flights from US. You can get directly to the Liberland region. It's subsidized by Croatian government. You have to be thankful for them for that. Usually it's empty. So it's a good opportunity to utilize that subsidy to fly to Liberland. But the main point, of course, again, of doing these events is to get people informed about the situation in Liberland, inform them how they can participate physically, how can they invest in Liberland, how can they become really the part of the startup country. So that's the main point. And coming early and leaving late is the good way to go about it. Anybody that works in Liberland can earn merits for it or Liberland dollars, and they can really enjoy all the benefits that our ecosystem of e-governance brings. Not just voting, but we also have a social system inside of it. People can unstake their merits which they collected. So they can. Again, the main point is to inform the people about what we have built in terms of new statehood, which should really be a model for other states for the future, but also to get them actively start using that system and actually be active part of building it, because things are pretty much finished, but still there is around 10% of things that is unfinished. This is a great time for people that would like to have a say in how the new generation of nation-state government works, and they have some strong ideas about it. They're very welcome to come and fine-tune these institutions that we are building, and I think will be very popular in the near future. Not just in Liberland, but in some other countries. We've got at least 2-3 other countries that are interested in utilizing a very similar system of governance. So that really excites me.
Hey, Vit,
Awesome.
how do you spell what did you call it? Osak?
Osijek. That's the
How do you
place
spell
where you
it?
can Osejek.
I would never have guessed that. You could have asked me to try to spell it 50 times. I'm glad I asked because I'm actually booking my ticket. I was planning right after this call to start looking at my tickets. I've been behind on that to buy flights. And I was actually thinking of London as being my first stop off point in Europe. And if I can fly direct from London to 45 minutes from the event, that'd be incredible. So I'm glad you mentioned that because I'll probably try to do it.
Yeah, amazing. And only $15, as far as I know.
Yeah, that's
That's good because I'm
amazing.
coming with like 20 people. So
Oh gosh, Jeff, you're going to have to update the roster for the event. Hey, Jeff, are we going to see the baby? Is the baby coming?
yeah, of course. He goes to every Anarchapulco event. He
Oh,
even came
good.
in his mom's belly the first year. So all my
Yeah.
kids have gone to every single Anarchapulco event. And so, of course, they can't miss Liberpulco.
Oh, I love
Amazing.
it so much. Hopefully, he and Josie can play now that they're both toddling around together. I did want to mention that we do have some limited seats on a bus coming from Belgrade on September 4th. And yes, I double checked the dates. September 4th, we do have buses that are picking up some of our speakers and VIP attendees. If you buy a VIP ticket for Liberpulco, that transfer is included. If you are a GA attendee, you bought a general admission ticket and you want to hop on that bus, you can buy an upgrade for that. I saw 2 people already had. And then that is returning on the morning of the 8th. And we are going to try and have 2 returns, one in the morning of the 8th and then one after the brunch and the Liberland tour in the afternoon. So check out liberpulco.com for the ticketing information. I'm just going to repeat September 5th through 7th, main stage. And we've got decentralized events happening before and after, including the 7-day path to citizenship for Liberland. If you want to go and settle the land for 7 days, you can earn your citizenship, which is super exciting. I wish I had the ability to come and stay an extra 7 days, but I don't this year. Maybe next year I will make a thing of it. So with that being said, I think we've covered all of the basics. And I would just like to check in with you guys and see if you have any closing remarks or words of wisdom. Jeff, we could start with you.
Sure, yeah. I'm going to be bringing an awesome device, a Tesla machine, which Nikola Tesla invented, but has been improved by a Mexican crazy scientist. And I've actually got one of these machines, and it's actually miraculous. It cures pretty much everything. So if you've got any sort of pains or anything, really, I'm going to be bringing that machine to the event. And it's actually pretty cool because, like I said, that's where Nikola Tesla is from. And we're bringing back his technology, which has been hidden for like 100 years, and on purpose, by the way, by Big Pharma. And it was actually Donald Trump's uncle who stole it, if you can believe that, but it's true. But we've rediscovered it and are bringing it back live. So that's another type of thing that is involved in things like Liberpulco and Liberland. And whenever I go to Liberland, other people have all kinds of incredible stuff like that they're doing as well. So I'm prepared to once again learn about a whole bunch of new things. But if you do want to try out the Tesla machine, I will have it there, and looking forward to it. It's less than 3 weeks now. I can't believe how time's flied. I don't know how you guys feel, but like this seems like it's happened. It's just like been 2 seconds since you guys had this idea, and it's already happening. But I've been amazed how quickly it's all come together and how many people have been getting excited about it, getting it all set up, like you, Kat, with the people that you work with. And it's like unbelievable how you've set it all up so quickly. And I've heard from so many people that they're coming. I've actually been surprised. I didn't expect to be hearing from so many people that they're coming, but I hear every day that someone says they're coming. And this all just happened. And when did it first come together? Like a month or maybe a month and a half ago, and it's already happening, and it's going to be pretty big. So I'm excited to come and be a part of it.
Well, Jeff, Hurricane Otis taught us how to work very swiftly. So the team has learned how to make magic with a shoestring budget and a very short timeline. And we've done the work on ourselves. So we're able to work together very smoothly and really get a lot done together. It's awesome. We have a really, really fabulous team, very high vibe. I want to try this Tesla machine, Jeff. I've got a health thing I'm not going to talk about now. I'm going to wait till I resolve it so that I can talk about it later, because the mainstream medical industrial complex wants me to chop my body up in places I don't want to be chopped up. And I have been doing alternative therapies and it has been working. It has been working, but it's not completely healed. And I need to just push over the edge. So I'm going to hunt you down for that Nikola Tesla device.
For sure.
All right. So Vit, what about you? Do you have any closing remarks or words of wisdom for our audience?
I think this will be a really exciting event. And, just another note, we just finished kind of our summer festival, which celebrates the opening of the borders. We had more than 600 people coming down for the main part of the event. It's also a great opportunity really to activate all the local liberty lovers from whole Balkans, and there is quite a few. And it's a great opportunity to get all the scientists come together as well. We've got two major robotic guys that one of them is building autonomous ships and the other one is building autonomous vehicles. Of course, there is a use for it in Liberland, which is also exciting. It's great to hear that you're bringing some medical devices as we're building this medical clinic in Liberland. And I just need to knock on the wood because we didn't have any injury in Liberland for 10 years. Think about it, how much luck we have so far. But I think it's really good time to actually start with a proper medical place, so that if there is some injury, and hopefully there will not be any, then we can take care of the people ourselves, and we can also offer all these cool new alternative things, a part of course, offering a delivery of babies, which will be probably very popular in Liberland very soon. So, cross fingers. The coming week, I would say, is critical when it comes to finishing some of the construction in Liberland. The relations with Croatia has been very good. By the way, today we just caught a very nice video with one of the inspectors coming down to Liberland to talk about this construction, and him telling, this is, according to our view, this is actually Serbia. We know that Serbia doesn't mind creation of Liberland, but we are protecting it on behalf of Serbia. So we've got the Croatian government that gives us the biggest challenges, basically sending a guy, very nice guy, that told us what we know from very beginning, that Liberland is not on any existing Croatia map, but also that Croatia doesn't consider Liberland to be part of Croatia's territory, which is very important. And this was the first time we actually have it on tape from a highly positioned inspector that came to visit us in Liberland. I would even consider it like a first diplomatic delegation to Liberland, which is quite nice. So cross fingers and come, and if you can come early, the sooner the better. We need more people in Liberland. We need to get ready for the autumn, for the winter, and we need to get a serious construction done in the next 2 or 3 months.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so everybody, if you want to purchase tickets to the Liberpulco event taking place at Ark Village in Serbia, go to Liberland.com, where you can find VIP tickets, general admission tickets, and virtual tickets. We've already sold out of our VIP Plus tickets, which included accommodation, but we do have a blog post on our website where you can see the address, phone number, all the information about different hotels that you could rent for yourself and your family and your friends. Christoph on our team, he actually went and visited all of these places in person, and he kind of gives his opinion on the spreadsheet about it. And we are accepting some applications for last-minute community support tickets. These are tickets that have a very low cost, $100 cost, but you do need to give 9 hours of community support time during the event, plus your orientation and training. We had some volunteers who backed out for health, family reasons and weren't able to attend. So we will be opening up some last minute community support tickets. There's an application on the website. So thank you guys for coming on today. I know it's really late for you, Vit. I really appreciate you staying up late for us and coming on to talk to the audience. Thank you to the audience for tuning in all over the world. We love you guys. I'm so excited to meet all of these European Liberlanders and get my first touchdown in Serbia. I've never been to Serbia. I tried to learn some of the language on the Drop app, and wow, it is much more complicated than Spanish. I will say that. So anyway, to everybody who's coming, thank you. We love you. If you're not coming, please check out the virtual feed. Not only do our speakers love having, more eyeballs on their message and more people hearing their message, but it actually helps us to put on the physical event. Our physical events are supported by the virtual tickets. So we really appreciate your support. We love you guys so much. Thank you, Vit. Thank you, Jeff. This is Catherine. We're signing off. Peace, love, and anarchy.
Thank you. Bye-bye.